I have NATO, I have the UK, which is in somewhat turmoil, and I have Putin. Frankly, Putin may be the easiest of them all. Who would think? Who would think? But the UK certainly has they have a lot of things going on.
Ever since the Brexit referendum, there's been a real sense of a broken, divided United Kingdom. And in the midst of all this, to make life that little bit more simple, Donald Trump is coming.
It's his first visit since becoming president, and he'll stay in the UK for 3 nights from tomorrow.
We either absolutely love this man or absolutely hate him.
Over 3/4 of young Brits think he's a poor president, but that's not everyone. I've come to a West London pub that's been renamed in honour of the president's visit. 25-year-old Michael is planning to hold a party here.
Michael, how's it going?
Hi, it's going well. How are
Very
you?
nice to meet you. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. What's going down here?
I'm just bringing up all things that have arrived for our Trump welcoming party this weekend.
These must sell like hotcakes.
Well, we would imagine most of the people who have bought tickets and would be coming would already have one.
Would you class yourself as a Trump superfan?
If I was an American citizen, I would definitely be voting Trump.
What is it you like about him?
The big thing for me about Trump is he came in and he just flipped over the table. He's changing the narrative on the big issues, on things like migration, on dealing with Islamic terrorism, on trade and economics globally. It's refreshing to see a leader in the West actually stand up for his nation and be unashamedly pro-American, pro-his nation, whereas in this country we just don't seem to do that anymore.
As a Northern Irish man who's British, why are you spending so much time admiring Trump?
Well, I mean, his mother was Scottish, and he said numerous times he has immense respect for Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah, but he's not defending British values, is he? He's
well, yeah, and that's okay. I wouldn't slight him for that, but he quite clearly wants to be a friend of this nation.
But some locals are unhappy about the event and the pub's new name.
I have to pay the fucking taxes for that motherfucker to ride around in Mar-a-Lago golf carts. Nobody wants him.
Have you told the owner what you think of?
Yes. Fuck that. I live in this neighborhood. I'm pissed. That guy sucks. He's a misogynist, he's a racist, he's a pig, and he didn't want the job.
Which one?
He didn't deserve it. Donald.
Wow. People clearly have got a lot of opinions.
Across Britain, people who oppose Trump are preparing for his visit. There'll be a demo in London on Friday the 13th of July. Social media has spread the word, and tens of thousands are expected. I'm in Birmingham to meet one person who plans to be there on his 23rd birthday.
How do you feel about Donald Trump? What are your opinions?
I think he's a really nasty piece of work, and he's doing a lot of harm in America at the moment.
You know, some of his followers would say he is representing a voice that hasn't really been listened to until his presence, and you know, he's representing free speech.
Rich, white, straight men have been heard forever up until now. And one thing that he's doing in particular is really pushing down on these marginalised voices and making life really hard for them.
For some Britons, Trump is a champion of Western culture. For others, a tyrant cracking down on minorities. The stage is set for conflict. And by the time I get back to London, it's Thursday, and the president is flying in.
Protests, there might be protests, but I believe that the people, they like me a lot.
I head to Regent's Park, where President Trump will stay the night at the residence of the US ambassador.
Yeah, the irony is that, you know, these guys here with the cameras, us, according to Donald Trump, you know, we are his enemy, the media, he hates the media. But in truth, it's the media that has made him. It's just this constant obsession with the man, his brashness, the thing his supporters love. He says what he feels, he says what he likes, is the reason that he sells unbelievably well and he rates so highly, because he is entertaining to watch, and what that means is that he is a unbelievably powerful man.
A big talking point in the run-up to Trump's visit was a giant baby Trump balloon that was to be flown over Westminster. Social media had gone mad over it. I arranged to ride along with Dan, one of the organisers, to watch it being set up.
How's it going, Dan? I'll
How you doing?
get in quickly. What do you think is so appealing about a giant baby of Trump with tiny hands?
I think a great barometer of kids, right? And whenever we've done a test run, it's been fairly near just kind of children. And every time I look at it, like, oh my God, look at that! It's horrible. Oh, it's Donald Trump. They always know it's Donald Trump as well.
Do they?
Unprompted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that not kind of suggest the level of notoriety he has? You know, he is the most famous man in the world.
We're talking like 6-year-olds. They know who he is, and they kind of revile him. Correct. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this.
Are you hoping this is going to humiliate Trump?
Well, it already has. We basically won. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but there's been a comment from Trump saying, I used to love coming to London. It's one of my favourite places. But if they're going to put up balloons in me to make me feel unwelcome, why would I go there?
The thing with Trump is that it's his media presence. You know, he's constantly out in the media. People are just obsessed with him. And do you not think it is things like this that kind of add to that? You know, he's funny. Things that he says are funny. Oh, he's a baby. It's kind of removed from his politics.
The fact that we've got the world's media here, and in every single interview we'll be hammering home the fact that this is a man who's at the figure of a rise of dangerous politics. We had the Windrush scandal, right? And I'm from that community, yeah? That's the same politics that's inspired that kind of disdain of migrants.
Trump obviously is an elected official. In reality, if you want to change his mind, maybe it needs to be less aggressive, more let's sit and chat.
I think what we've seen over the last 2 years has shown that that isn't the way he operates, right? What we've had are some of the most powerful leaders in the world, Merkel, May, Macron, thinking they can tame this man. They've expended a lot of their own capital doing that, right? And each time they have failed, because that is not the way he operates. He's a brash man, right? And he thinks he is right. And he may be elected democratically, and that is fine. But we here have a democratic right to protest, which is why we're here.
It's going to be an eventful day, though. There's already Trump supporters who have shown up, who are causing a bit of a stir. So it's going to be interesting. How's it going, sir? Do you want to share your views with the world?
This is a national disaster. This shows that Theresa May.
Why are you shouting?
Yes, I'm so angry.
It's okay. It's just peaceful.
Yeah.
So to explain your views,
Yeah, actually, this is a national disaster. This shouldn't be allowed to happen in a Commonwealth nation. Britain is a pride of common nation. Trump is our guest. We should support him. We should love him. I've never seen in history of mankind when you ridicule your guest.
What is so offensive? It's just a giant.
It's very
baby.
offensive. This is not a giant. It's the Trump picture. Trump
Pretty
looks.
big baby.
No, this is a disaster. Trump is going to spend 8 years in the White House.
Okay.
8 years. It's a second term president. It's unstoppable.
Baby Trump has liftoff. You basically have, two opposing arguments here. On the one hand, this is no way to treat a sitting US president, a man who's came here only to potentially better British and US relations. And on the other hand, this is freedom of speech. This is a peaceful protest.
For anti-Trump campaigners, the balloon launch is just the start. The main event is scheduled for 2 p.m. Will from Birmingham arrives off the train, in full drag.
Hiya. Thanks, mate. We're good. It's so hard to be a queer person in America right now, and it's even harder for trans people in particular at the moment, and most importantly trans people of colour. They have the highest incarceration rates, homelessness rates, rates of attempted suicide. It's really sad. And I think for us it's about trying to be an ally today to all those people.
Exactly.
As the march kicks off, the president is with Theresa May for a press conference. It's awkward, as this morning The Sun published an interview in which he criticised her.
Our countries are meant to have a special relationship, yet you publicly criticised the Prime Minister's policy and her personally for not listening to you this week. Is that really the behaviour of a friend?
It's called fake news.
In a way, Trump is actually quite the uniting character. Here you have people from quite a lot of different organisations. You have Stop the War Coalition, you have the Socialist Party, you have feminist groups, you even have the Iranian Communist Party here, all coming together under the banner of dumping Trump. Why is Trump in a bin?
He is in a bin because we are binning his policies, his anti-Palestinian policies, his Islamophobia and racism.
Are you literally dumping Trump? Like, do you have
We are
some kind of like figurine?
dumping an effigy of Trump in a 5-foot bin.
Donald Trump, go away. Don't you know it's my birthday?
There's a party atmosphere on the march. But not everyone's enjoying it quite so much. I bump into Michael, the Trump supporter I met a few days earlier.
What do you make of this? Seems like potentially more people in your party on Saturday, is it that?
Well, one would hope, but I just find this to be hysterical overreaction. There's people walking about with like decapitated Trump heads, and some of the signs are pretty crude. I mean, they're free speech, so I have no problem with them doing it in principle, but I just find it incredibly hyperbolic.
What do you make of all these protesters? Why do they have such an issue with Trump? You know, they say he's a fascist, he's a racist.
Looking at some of the people here, considering how bourgeois they seem to come across, I can imagine there's certainly a good, oh, I'm very middle class. It feels good to hate this nasty racist because that's a good middle class thing to do.
It's just before 5 o'clock, and Donald Trump is meeting the Queen. Meanwhile, his subjects are arguing about whether or not he's a Nazi.
Anyone who is pro-Trump, you sit there and compare it to the Nazis.
But there's brains and no brains, in my opinion.
Oh, so I have no brain. Are you saying I have no brain? No.
How has Trump got you onto this level of conversation? You're now talking about World War I.
We're having debates because these people comparing Trump to Hitler. And I'm saying that you can't compare someone who doesn't gas people, innocent people in a chamber. You can't compare him to Hitler.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
If you think Trump is Hitler,
can you tell me?
Is that an
What? Can you give me an example? No, it's not.
Let me explain something. We should learn from what's happening.
Can you tell me where he's gas people?
First from the signs. It's the same signs, the signs that from the past.
It might not happen now, but it's the ideology
then we're
that
on
will carry on
dangerous
in the next
grounds.
Tens of thousands of people had taken to the streets in London and Glasgow, but it was hard to imagine one policy of Donald Trump, or even the mind of one Trump supporter, changing as a consequence. No protester had come close to confronting the president by the time he quit England for Scotland. But on Friday night, this one dropped into his golf course. Back in London on Saturday, there's a pro-Trump rally near the new American embassy. For me, it's a chance to learn more about British fans of Trump. Luke Nash-Jones, aged 32, is a student and the founder of Make Britain Great Again, a group with around 100,000 followers online. He's organised today's rally.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you very much for coming out here today to support Donald Trump.
The protest here is most definitely considerably smaller than yesterday. I'm not making any political assumptions from that.
Well, that's debatable. It depends what you were looking at and what was happening. But
it's debatable. I mean, I was literally walking through both crowds.
Because I'm sure a lot of money has been put into what happened to criticise Donald Trump. We know anti-racism was there. It's linked to the Labour Party, the Socialist Works Party. It's heavily funded. What happened here was literally just grassroots. It's not funded, it's not staged, it's real people coming out to show they support the president.
Many here also support Tommy Robinson, former head of the English Defence League. He's in prison for breaching court reporting laws. His supporters, though, believe that the government is trying to silence right-wing voices.
And I have this message to those people in Calais. You're not welcome. Go back to your families, pack your bags and piss off.
But free speech doesn't seem to be a problem here.
I do feel that it's not true to say there's white privilege. I actually feel that Muslim people seem to have more rights in our country than anyone else.
Anti-fascist protesters who oppose Tommy Robinson and Trump are also on the streets today. By now, some of the audience from the pro-Trump rally have joined the larger Free Tommy Robinson. The two groups have turned out in force, with thousands on the streets, and soon there are clashes. The police step in and build a line between them.
Excuse me, I work at the BBC. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. Why do you look so scary?
Scary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I'm wearing a mask is so, one, the police can't see who I am. Two, the fascists can't see who I am. And three, I'm in a very, very, very nice job at the moment. And if I get seen doing what I'm doing now, I'll lose everything.
What is your definition of a fascist?
I mean, everyone knows fascists to be Hitler supporting Nazi scum. But, I mean, I guess in a way, fascism is anything from... Oh, you put me on the spot here.
So why is it that you think that you know what is right and wrong and that you can tell people who can and can't talk?
The things that we say, we are in support of every race, every culture, every religion, right? They are against Islam. They are against Jews. They aren't nice people.
These guys do look a bit scary. They do have a history of violence, and I just can't imagine this is the best way to engage with people who, on the other side, are Tommy Robinson supporters who seem like they think Britain is against them anyway, and this just amplifies that idea of being attacked.
You know what we're here for?
What are you here for?
We're here because we're against racism and bigotry. You guys are part of the problem. You guys are biased. You're part of the problem.
Who's pushing you?
You're not even black. Go away.
Why push the cameras?
You think that people are on your side?
Why push the cameras?
You think that people are on your side?
I'm not saying that BBC. This is a protest on the streets of London.
Get the fuck. Likes the fucking BBC.
Don't try. Don't try. Don't try.
It's not going to work.
I'm not going to go here. I'm allowed to stand here. I'm allowed to stand here.
Fuck off.
I'm allowed to stand here. This is a free speech. Yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty aggressive now. Someone's just put up a Trump flag. It immediately got ripped down. The police are now pushing everyone away from the area. Yeah, we're no longer allowed to be there. They're fighting, but there we go. On the other side of the police line, the main Tommy Robinson rally was largely peaceful. But a few supporters have moved to Trafalgar Square. Can I ask you a question? Once again, I tried to talk. You can't really win here, can you? And it's all just way too aggressive to be remotely productive. But people can't seem to realise that. Donald Trump has been spending the day on his golf course. Tonight will be his last night in Britain. In West London, Michael's party is finally happening, but he has to make do with a cosplay Trump.
You are welcome in our country anytime you like.
God, Emperor Trump!
What is even the point of these protests on both sides? Like, what have they even achieved? After 2 days of protests in this country, Donald Trump is still president. Everyone still hates each other.
I think they're good at networking and sort of making sure that the feeling that you are not alone, that you're not isolated in your views. But at the same time, what do they actually achieve? Apparently these days they just achieve violence in the street.
So I began my journey only a couple of days ago at the Trump Arms, talking about Donald Trump, unsurprisingly. But I think in reality it goes way beyond him.
Trump's visit demonstrates how polarised politics are here, just as he's shown in the US. Right now in the UK, there seem to be more people who are anti-Trump than pro, but in a changing, divided Britain, with people feeling as though politicians don't speak for them, Could we soon find ourselves with a leader just like Trump?